I like to begin my speech with telling you a story about how medical marijuana is beneficial to everyone who might have an ailment. The other day, I was getting home from a doctor appointment, and I didn't have bus money to get home, so I had to go to my friend's at the hospital who was having a baby to ask for some change to get home. Once I was very anxious and very angry, so when I got home, a neighbor offered to smoke some weed with me because she could see that I was very upset. And immediately after I got a little bit high, I was able to calm down. My anxiety disappeared almost instantly when you smoke it, and I was able to have fun the rest of the day. Now, that's something that works for most people who smoke medical marijuana all the time. Medicinal marijuana is more than just a drug or a recreational drug. It can help. It has practical uses like the stems or the rope. The stems can be turned into the rope, which is technically one of the strongest ropes in the world, and it can also be made into jewelry. It has more than applications than just to get high. There was this show called The Weed Wars that I used to watch because I was curious about what they had to say. That was about a weed shop that is based in Oakland, completely medicinal. You have to have a card or a rec. That's what they call it, a rec, to get a piece of paper that tells you that you are allowed to smoke it legally and carry up to an ounce of weed without being arrested and smoke it on the streets. Now, this show actually found a way through their scientific part of their shop to take out the elements that make you high so you can treat children with epilepsy and cerebral palsy. Besides the fact that it helps with glaucoma, it can also regulate your appetite. I lost weight from 300 pounds from smoking marijuana because it regulated my appetite instead of eating so much, despite the fact of munchies, or the myth of munchies. And you can find this show and look up its history on Wikipedia or imdb.com. Marijuana, cannabis, medical cannabis, actually helps me very much so because I'm diagnosed with bipolar disorder and generalized anxiety disorder and OCD. I forget the term for it. But y'all know what OCD is, and it helps with the bipolar effects of racing thoughts. So it slows my mind down so I can actually concentrate on what I'm doing and the task that I'm doing. And I only smoke it when I need it. You know, I don't smoke it recreationally. Well, sometimes I do, but usually that's when I'm done with everything for the day, schoolwork, taking care of my son, taking care of my house, cleaning my house, all of that stuff. And then by the time, sometimes I'll smoke it when I'm very, very anxious and my medication for the bipolar disorder doesn't help. It actually adds to my medication, which helps me stay calmer. It keeps the bipolar regulated a lot more with the medication. Now, some people can get sick or become allergic from marijuana, but it's not I haven't heard a lot about that, and I have never heard of anyone ODing off of the drug, so I don't agree that it's still criminalized. Or in the federal government, they can still raid shops because even though it might be legal medicinally or recreationally state, it's still federally a crime. So what the advocates are trying to do is make it legal for a recreational drug, like you can buy it like cigarettes. I myself have smoked weed all my life, and every time I have smoked it, it has always helped me. It has never been a detriment to me, but there are detriments to some people who might not be able to handle it. One thing that really gets me about medical marijuana is the fact that cancer patients with glaucoma, they can smoke it, and it, like I said about the appetite, they can eat because cancer patients go through chemotherapy, which is radiation, makes them go bald, and they have no appetite. They can't keep anything down. Smoking marijuana brings their appetite up. Just like for me, it regulated it to bring it down. So it works both ways. There's more benefits than there are negatives to smoking marijuana. I found an article the other day just looking around on Facebook about, because it was 420, April 20th, the national celebration for stoners to smoke weed. I found this article about the origin of how marijuana 420 came about, and it really had nothing to do with smoking weed itself. It was these students who just went looking for a specific location called 420, and they smoked weed through the whole ride, and then once they found it, it was 420. So that became a national thing, even though a lot of people believe that the Grateful Dead coined the term 420. No, the Grateful Dead was able to, they used it, and it became mainstream after they found out about these guys in San Francisco, California. In this article, it's a BBC article from 2014, and if you need the link, I can post it with the video. Now, my goal is that you get an understanding of the benefits of medical marijuana. They outweigh the negatives, as I've said. There are shops on every corner now that sell it. Every freaking corner. I have at least 8 shops within walking distance of my house as of today that sell medical marijuana. And some of them, you don't even need a rec. You just need your ID. You know, it's really becoming so mainstream that it doesn't even matter anymore. The cops don't look at it as a drug, you know, even though it's still federally a drug. So I hope the audience will research and find out exactly what really is the benefits and the negatives of this particular item, medical cannabis or medical marijuana, and get a better understanding and talk to people who actually use it, because if you really think about it, there is a lot of people who smoke weed that you might never know who do. My whole apartment complex does. So, and I did not know that till after I moved in. So it's very common now. It's just like smoking cigarettes. So, and it's actually healthier for you than cigarettes. I hope you have a better understanding of medicinal marijuana.